I just recently watched The Last Dance. I finally got to it. Like I
It's a
watched it
great documentary.
in parts, but I sat down and watched it from beginning to end. And like one of my favorite parts was he would I don't know if this means he's like mentally ill. He's probably a little mentally ill, but he would like wholeheartedly believe that like the other like he'd like create these scenarios in his head where he'd be
Right.
like uh did John Stockton play during that I think it was
Yeah.
I think it was with him where he was like he pretended that John Stockton said something in the media that he was slow or he couldn't guard him or whatever. And then like if he would have strapped him to a lie detector test, he would have like he wholeheartedly believed with everything
Sure.
in his being that John Stockton was talking crap. But like and then he would just bully him like throughout the 7 game series or whatever, just like go at him as hard as he can, try to make him quit. Like
Bit of vendetta.
single him out just because he thought he said something or whatever. And then like in The Last Dance, he goes, "Yeah, I know that he didn't say any of that stuff." But he was telling everybody, he's like, "Yeah, he was talking crap," and he like really believed it with his whole heart. That's so like I wonder if I'm mentally ill enough to like create those. Like, do you do that at all? Where you like create scenarios in your head that aren't necessarily
When
true?
I was so it's being in business is competitive for sure. It's a different type of competitiveness than obviously I can't go out and bully financial advisors and so it's a different level of and it actually took me a while to realize that, not in the sense that I can't go out and bully financial advisors, to realize that it's more mental. Like I would, when you're in sports, you're driving yourself to get into that competitive advantage where you're in better shape, where you've practiced more foul shots, you've practiced more catches, more throws, so that you're better than the other person. And my success in life has always been, while I think that I'm an intelligent guy, intelligent enough to make it work, I've never been the smartest guy in the room. So the way that I got from point A to point B was I was willing to work harder. I was willing to put more hours in and do their thing. And that's how when I played at Mount Union, that's how I was. I spent more time in the weight room. I spent more time training. And then when you get in the real world where people are not paying you to run a 40-yard sprint or catch a ball, it's putting that in mental and switching that to mental from physical. That was something that it took a while to get to, because there's something about that physical aspect that's rewarding, because you can actually feel it, right?
Sure.
And on the mental edge of it, you can see it, you see the results, but you don't feel it putting into it. But no, I've never had a problem with lack of motivation, and part of that, without getting into some depth, if I look at my history, my life, there are some things that I can lean on to as I have maybe felt a little bit inadequate about things in my life, maybe things people that I didn't have, and I've tried to use that weakness as a source of motivation. So what do they say? You take your disadvantage and turn it into your advantage.
Sure. Yeah, I always like one of the best feelings in the world is walking into an empty gym. This might just be for me, not just because you don't have to wait for equipment, but it feels good to like, because I always work out with a buddy. My buddy's name is Gavin. He would probably like that I shout him out because he listens to the podcast. But whenever we walk in, I kind of get like, I don't know if it's a chip on my shoulder where it's like, yeah, have fun sleeping. Like everybody's sleeping while I'm out here putting in the work. That kind of feels.
I used to love that.
That feels good.
I used to love that.
Enjoy your
Enjoy
your 30 minutes of sleep. I'm in here slamming weights.
getting a head start, right?
That feels good.
No, I always found that I would lift at odd times a lot of times, especially when I was in college. It might be 9 o'clock at night, and I knew there were people that are out drinking, having a good time, and I was in the squat rack, and it just felt that level of satisfaction because while they're resting, I'm getting ahead.
Sure. I feel the same way when I'm doing like either stuff for the podcast or websites or stuff for Crosby at like in the late hours. That always makes me feel good for that same reason where you just kind of feel like you're putting in the work. It's a good feeling.
Right. And that's the case. I mean, I think if you look at success can be broken down into habits. Really, our lot in life is a culmination of the habits that we have. So if I have a habit of waking up and cracking open a beer and drinking a 6-pack before noon, my lot in life probably isn't going to be that great. Because chances are, if you look at your personal income, a lot of it is a result of the value that you provide to others. If you are, Derek, if you are a good IT person and you're able to program, and you're offering that company solution, the companies will pay you good money for that. They're not going to pay you money to wake up and start drinking beer at 9 o'clock in the morning. So if we want to be at a certain level, ultimately the questions that we ask ourselves are, what are the habits that are going to get me there? If it's something mental, how much time do I need to put into researching? If it's something physical, what kind of shape do I need to get in? What kind of skills do I need to learn to get there? And those habits are going to be the thing that are going to be our success or failure.
Did you ever read, I believe it's called Atomic Habits? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I did.
You like
I didn't read it. I listened to it on a book.
I never, that one's like in my Instagram feed, like I get like people recommending books or whatever. And that one has popped up more than once. So I was wondering if that's worth my time to read.
It is worth your time to read. To me, a successful book is something that you can take something from, one thing.
I have a higher bar than that. Because
really?
do you ever? Sorry to interrupt you, but do you ever like start a book and then not finish it, or do you just power through?
I will. I'm more than happy to stop a book if it's because my time's valuable.
Sure. I for some reason like I like the satisfaction of like finishing a book, and like even if like I'll be 3/4 of the way through and enjoy it. Like it's not necessarily that the first 3/4 are bad, but then that last like fourth, we're just kind of wrapping up, and it's like I could be done with this, and like all the useful information's gone. It's just kind of like either summarizing or doing whatever it's doing, and you feel like you can stop, but for some reason I'm just like one more hour.
Well, there's nothing wrong with seeing it through. I just when I read, you read for two things. You could read for entertainment, or you could read to gain knowledge. If I'm looking to gain knowledge, I know that I told you this morning my wick is burning. And there's so much time that I have to acquire this knowledge, only so much time I have to acquire this knowledge. And so if I feel a book's not providing to me, I'm going to move on to the next one. But let me give you that Atomic Habits. Here's one thing that I took from that I thought was pretty brilliant. If our lot in life is a culmination of our habits, which I believe it is, he talked about stacking habits. And what he meant by that is, if you want to pick up a new habit that would be beneficial to you, what you do is you stack it to an existing habit. For example, Derek, you wake up every morning and you work out. And let's say that you had a goal of being able to save more, or to maybe start an investment plan. So here's what you do. You wake up every morning, and on the completion of every workout, you transfer X amount of money into an investment account. And so now you're stacking that habit. And once you get to do that, once you finish your workout, you're going to get to the point where, okay, my workout's done. I got to transfer my money into my investment account, so that you're taking a habit that you already have, that's already a positive habit that you have, and you're adding another one to that. And then pretty soon that's clockwork. Every time you finish your working out, you're transferring money into your investment account. And before you know it, you're saving 15% of your income, and you're well on your way to financial success.
They say,